started to jump onto Facebook there. So it's exploding exponentially in that regard. And what's interesting is one of the fastest growing segments is women 55 plus, 55 and over. 175% growth in the last 120 days. So women 55 and over, 173% growth in the last 120 days. I know for a case, but how many of you see your high school alumni suddenly showing up after 30, 40 years, 20 years? They're starting to throw stuff in my front yard on Facebook. So I go, well, where have you been all these years? So that demographic is really changing. Another interesting subject, study that came out just recently is the 2009 Women in Social Media study by Blogger, iVillage, and Compass Partners. This is a very interesting study, and it found that 53% of women get their social media groove on weekly. And the end sample on that was about 1,500 there, and they found to be quite quantifiable at that sample. And the age range was 18 to 77 years old. So of that age group, there are that 79 million users of social media, this is 79 million women using social media, is that 53% of them use it every week there. And what that tells us is what's happening to the women's segment. They're moving from broadcast television, moving from cable, spending more time on the internet. Something to think about as these demographics shift around there. A couple of interesting case studies there. How many of you know about Koji Tacos in LA? There's that student again, Koji Tacos. Very interesting thing. This is a great example of how social media is making an audience very scalable, but keeping the product not scalable, therefore it's in demand and of high value. So what Koji does is they have 2 taco trucks. They're owned by Koreans, and they drive around LA. One of them is called Verde, and one of them is called Rojo, green and red. And what they found 8 months ago is that they had a very tech-savvy audience there around LA, and they said, okay, we're going to drive our trucks around, and we're going to start using Twitter to broadcast the locations of our trucks every day, on the hour and so forth. And so what happened was that Koji started broadcasting, and then people started to line up at the queue points around LA Basin as to where these Koji trucks were going to show up. And so what happened is, there's a little note here on the tweet. It says Verde, 6 to 9 p.m. at UCLA, at Gale and Strathmore, 10 p.m., 2 a.m. to the Bay, Abbott, Kinney. So they're giving coordinate points across Twitter as to where the Verde truck is going to show up. Now they'll send this tweet out, on some frequency basis. So when the truck comes, there's 300 to 400 people lining the sidewalk, ready to eat Korean tacos. They'll spend about 3 hours at every location, and they'll go ahead and then move on to the next point. So what's interesting is they scaled their demand, but they haven't scaled the product availability, which has created more of a demand for it. And that's really kind of the interesting dynamic of how you can use technology this way. They even have a video now called Chasing the Dragon. So they created this whole thing around chasing the truck. And there's been a YouTube video done. It's gotten a gazillion hits. They created a whole culture around it. Very interesting way to use Twitter for broadcasting your rolling restaurant locations. Another interesting one is what Bush Entertainment is doing right now with an interesting thing called advertising. There's another buzzword for it. It's combining an application with advertising. And so what Bush has done is they've combined a Facebook page, added their general website page, and in the middle of it is a casual gaming interface. And this is a really interesting thing. What some companies are doing now with distributing the content through a casual game. A person can go to Facebook, play this game, which is essentially find the different pictures, of these whales, and then get a coupon or some incentive to go to Busch Gardens. On one case here, we have We have the website, and what Busch Gardens has done is they've integrated what's called the Facebook Connect. So Facebook Connect allows someone on a client website to click on Facebook Connect, and that takes them over to their Facebook side, and they can share that interactive game with their friend. Interesting things here. I don't think Busch Entertainment went far enough with what they could do with this sort of thing. I mean, it's an experiment, but think about interactive learning. Think about opportunities to do a joint promotion or shared revenue with Amazon Books, for example, to have kids learn about whales or learn about aquatic life and do something, there that drives the purchase of a book or drives maybe some more learning, with their properties. So there's a lot of things that can be done with gaming now, with casual gaming, that really gets that across. So if we had it on the big screen, this is a big stack of pancakes. And the question is, so how do I stack up? Another interesting use of social media is with a company called FiLife, and they have a portal on the web, and it's all about financial products. It's all about 401ks, planning, and so forth. And what they've done is they've created a stack me against others tool. So what I've done is I've gone in there and said, they asked the question, how much retirement money have you lost this past year? So I put in $30,000. I wish it was something like that. But what happened is then the engine generates how I compare to the rest of the people that have gone on that site to show how much they've lost in their 401ks. And they have a lot of these stack tools in there, but the point being is it's almost like peer pressure. It's almost like, putting yourself in with others in your situation and saying, well, maybe I should refigure out my 401k because I'm in the 10% percentile there, what's left of my investments. Or maybe I should be saving more for college because I fall in the 30% percentile there. So the idea of social media, using it to compare yourself with others, and then having products and services right next to the comparison chart there to see how you can improve your own financial profile is a very compelling thing and a great piece of social media.